Alright, now let me summarize all the different position. Yeah, the different position that CSS has, because it's a very important question. I was telling the other day, interviewer will ask you this question itself instead of asking without asking any question. Let's say he might not ask you box model also. If he is in a hurry, he will directly ask, okay, tell me the different type of position values in CSS. Or he might ask you, okay, tell me the difference between relative and absolute, relative and fixed. Yeah, 100% guaranteed interview question. Fine. So in this video, I'm going to summarize all the different values. Yes, I know we have discussed in separate videos, as you might have gone through. Yeah, if you have not watched, go and watch each of those videos for a detailed example. Yeah, so there are five position values which we have in CSS. The first position is, yeah, it's a default position. It is called static. We also call it position, the element is not positioned at all because it is present wherever it is in the document, wherever I have written in the HTML. All right, so next position that I have, yeah, is actually position relative. Yeah, so we know that all the positions actually going to work with this top, yeah, left, right, as well as bottom. Now the rest of the position that we are going to understand are actually going to work with top, left, right and bottom values. So let's say if I make position relative, then using all these coordinates, it's like just like coordinates x, y, z. Yeah, so we can adjust that element using top, left and right and bottom. So position relative, yeah, is one of the value. So this is okay. When I what I have to say when position when I I was asked like, okay, what is position relative? Yeah, so when I make a element position relative, yeah, so it has two things. One, the element comes out of its natural flow, correct? Comes out of the natural flow. Yeah, it will not be there in the document, right? And second thing is, if I am moving that element, yeah, the element, as a reference point from where it actually moves. Yeah, so the reference point is, yeah, from its original position. Let's say the element is placed in a certain place, it starts moving from that position. Yeah, the 0 0 value, yeah, reference. Let's say if I say 0 comma 10, so what is this 10? From where it is 10? From where? That where is actually I'm saying reference point, right? So it starts moving from its original position wherever it was there, right? And this is one of the position value which we actually use for container elements. Yeah, so generally used for containers. And another thing that we observe in relative is, it leaves a gap. It leaves a gap, yeah, once the element is moved. Yeah, it leaves a gap once the element is moved and it is left unoccupied. Yeah, so no other element can come in that place. I mean, no other element in the sense the ones which are below that element cannot occupy that space. Okay, the elements below them, they cannot occupy that space. That is actually position relative. You should say all these 3 points, then the interviewer gets convinced, yes, okay, this guys know really what is position relative. Okay, then there is another positioning. Let's move on to recall what is the other position that we have learned. Yeah, position fixed. With position fixed, similar to relative, we can use any of these 4 values to adjust its position. Yeah, yes, the element also comes out, yeah, similar to relative, comes out of its natural flow. Yeah, and then it will start positioning with respect to viewport 0 0. Yeah, the reference point is viewport. Viewport is the visible area of the web page. Okay, so viewport is visible area of the web page and it starts positioning with respect to the 0 0 of the viewport. Example, yeah, 0 0 is here, top left is where we can say viewport 0 0 starts. Yeah, right. And in terms of the space, you know, it is like it will not leave any gap. Yeah, it will not leave any gap because other elements can come and occupy that space once it is left. Yeah, it will occupy. Okay, I'll give a best example now. Okay, so let's say you have a guest who has come. Okay, he was sitting so far and now he has left the place. What happens? No other person will go and occupy that space. Yeah, that is what is kind of relative. Yeah, relative, you can think like, okay, like a guest. That position is kind of reserved for him, even if he moves out somewhere. But whereas fixed, it's like an audience. People are waiting, people are sitting, so much crowd is there. Yeah, and assume like, okay, you are sitting now, you went out somewhere. What happens? Gone. See, like so. That's what I mean to say occupied, right? So someone else can come and occupy. All right. Yeah. So position fixed we use for the usage also you can talk about. Yeah, we can use it for something like to be fixed. Just now we saw yeah okay, so I think no, I didn't show it yet. Yeah, so we can say so fixed is for something like, okay, a footer, fixed header, especially for a sidebar. eh? Now you see I'm scrolling this, but this section is kind of fixed, right? It is not moving at all. See, I'm able to scroll this whole page. Yeah, similar behavior you might have observed in the web page. A sidebars where it is fixed. So more than telling this, you can, even if you tell the use case, yeah, interviewer will get more confidence on your answers, and that you will understand that and also you have used it. It's not that you just know the answer. Okay, with that, let's move on to the third positioning technique that we have know, which is positioning using absolute. Yeah, so absolute position, yeah, similar, almost like similar to relative and fixed. Yeah, comes out of natural flow. Yeah, no, like kind of other elements can actually come and occupy the space. Yeah, other elements will occupy the space is what I'll write. In terms of the reference point, yeah, it is like fixed. In terms of the reference point, yeah, one case is it is like fixed. I would say one case is like a viewport 0 0. Yeah, viewport 0 0, but the condition is if none of the parent element or none of the ancestor, we can call, yeah, ancestor elements are positioned, meaning they don't have any position like relative or fixed or even absolute. But let us say it finds its parent element or any of its ancestor is positioned, then okay, yeah, then from the ancestor, yeah, parent is also one of the ancestor, correct? So ancestor, from the ancestor, if yeah, if they are positioned, okay, if they are positioned, then with respect to that particular element, not the viewport. So there are two cases. Yeah, so this is what is position absolute, yeah, as a whole. But there are a lot of use case for position absolute. Yeah, so one example I can give you is actually a model window. Yes, so we have seen a lot of model windows. So model windows are like menu items. Let's say for example I click on something, so something kind of floats, right? So for all these kind of things, let's say there are some sidebar which comes in. Yeah, you want to click something and then the sidebar appears. Yeah, model window is again another good example. Yeah, so we use position absolute, and sometimes like we have positioned, for example I want to position this element. I cannot use relative, but I'm using position absolute. Yeah, so in that case, I can make this element to be within this particular box itself. Yeah, I have a use case like it should be within this box, it should not go out though it is positioned. Yeah, for those kind of case we use absolute. So So there we make the parent position, like the parent box position, and we make sure that even the child box also is positioned within that element. A best example is like, what if I assume like this is a model window, but I want to have a cross mark here. That cross mark I use with, I cannot use position fixed. Yeah, I cannot use position fixed because if, let me show you. Yeah, let me show you. I'll have a, you know, so yeah, I'll have a button. I'll add a button here, and I'll make it like, uh, yeah, I'll say button X. So I'll say style position fixed. Okay, I'll make it position fixed. See what is happening? The element is coming here. Why? Because just now we spoke, it starts with respect to the viewport. Viewport 00. No, I cannot use it. What happens if I use absolute? Yes, that is also the same. Just now we understood, provided, yeah, provided, okay, it stays within that box, within this rectangular box that we have, provided that element is also having some position. Okay, so which is good thing. So I can make the other element as position relative. Yeah, see now, it is not going to cross that. Now I can give a position value. So I can say, yeah, right 0, left 0. Yeah, I'll say right 0 for now. And maybe I'll give some top value. Top right 0. Yeah, exactly. What is happening here? Top 5. Okay. Uh, Let me see. Yeah, it should be right 0. What exactly happening? I think the element is getting stretched. That shouldn't be the case. Okay, let me continue. So I was saying like, okay, we can position with, yeah, position with like, absolute, and what is the use case, why we cannot use fixed, and why we use relative, and what happens. Okay, fine. So let's move on. Okay, so this is with respect to position fixed. Okay, what is the last position that we have to learn? I mean, we have to recall, which is position sticky. So position sticky is actually kind of, a combination of the first two. So which is like, it's a combination of relative. Okay, it behaves like relative and fixed. Yeah, the only difference we have to understand is, yeah, when the parent element is in scroll, when the parent element, yeah, parent element is in scroll, then it behaves like a fixed element. When parent is not in scroll, it behaves like a relative element. So what is relative, what is fixed? We've already understood here. That's all. Yeah, this position as a sticky, it does not have its own uniqueness, but it just like a combination of relative and fixed. Yeah. So with this kind of, we revised all the all the CSS position values. At least you should remember these points. Yeah. Otherwise, like, I mean, they'll ask you just in combination. But if you could mention all these points, I think your interview, whoever will have more confidence saying that, okay, yes, I mean, this guy knows and he can